everybody. It is Wednesday at 7:30, and that means it's another installment of the football show with no name. And sorry, we're taken aback by Maverick down here on my bottom left. And so we're gonna anyway. Sorry, I apologize. All right, so above me, you got Ian the Champ. To the top left of me is Big Bird. And to complete the Hollywood Square down here to the left, we got Maverick, Lauren.
I'm trying. This is how I have to be a Saints fan nowadays. You got to hide yourself.
Yeah, no, and I don't disagree. We can talk about Derek Carr in a little while if you want to. So what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna talk a little bit of real football. We have a little segment for you from Lauren about DFS. We have some fantasy draft talk, and then of course we're gonna talk about the Thursday night game. But to start it off, guys, this is week 5, coming into week 5, right? So now people, JT are eligible to come off the IR. He has come off the IR. He has been practicing this week with the Colts. So this is the big story that everybody's talking about. Ian, you said you were seeing it all over social media. So give us a little bit of that.
So the socials are really blowing up. Not so much on Kupp as they are with Jonathan Taylor. And what I've seen a lot of, and I mentioned this in our pregame, what a lot of people are saying with Jonathan Taylor is they're getting all super hype. Like Jonathan Taylor's back, JT's back. Let's go.
Indianapolis they said Indianapolis has the division at this point. I heard.
If Jonathan Taylor comes back like he is Jonathan Taylor, and then you have Anthony Richardson, who's been great.
First of all, you're talking about Jonathan Taylor from 2021. Jonathan Taylor from 2022 was not hot shit. What people don't understand about the PUP list is that there's a difference between being activated and being active. Right. Jonathan Taylor does not want to play for the Colts. He still wants to be traded. He does not want to be there. So the Colts.
So tell everybody what that means. What that means, right? What is coming off of the IR? What are the stipulations? Tell everybody what that means.
So the PUP list is the physically unable to perform list. It has sexual connotations and it has football connotations. Jonathan Taylor was put on the PUP list because he was basically a holdout. He was physically unable to perform. He wouldn't play. So when you're on the PUP list at the start of the season, or whenever you go on IR, you have to be out for a minimum of 4 weeks.
Right.
When that 4 weeks passes, the team then has 3 weeks, to activate you, or for you to be activated and to rejoin the squad in practice.
So let's make sure that we're a full understanding here. So when you're on the PUP list, even if you're better, you still have to stay off for 4 weeks, and you cannot practice with the team. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, you're not suspended, so technically you could still be with the team.
Right, but you can't practice, right?
Well, the connotation is that if you are physically unable to perform, you're not practicing. Jonathan Taylor is different. Cooper Kupp was on IR. He could not practice. He's working his way back up with the trainers. If Jonathan Taylor is not activated in 3 weeks, he then needs to be put on IR for the rest of the season.
For the rest of the season, he cannot play anymore.
Jonathan Taylor is going to come back at some point in time during the season, because in order for him to gain an accrued year of free agency, meaning for him to say, I played in 2023, I was an active player, this goes towards my 5th contract year, he has to play at least by week 10. So if he doesn't play, love that picture, Brian. So if he doesn't play by week 10, he's technically still a 4th-year player. He does not gain that 5th year, and he's not an unrestricted free agent next year, which is really what he wants.
So So let me ask you this. By the way, the Twins just won their first postseason series since 2002.
They swept the Rangers.
They did. All right.
Kirby Puckett.
You're right. So there is what percentage chance that JT plays this week?
0.
I mean,
I'm with you, Ferg.
If he's not practicing, then it's a 0% chance.
He is practicing though.
he's with the team. Is he
They
practicing?
said he practiced in a limited fashion yesterday. I don't know about
that. Means he came out in a jersey and he stood on the sideline,
and that's
to
fine.
let all the other GMs know that I'm here. Don't forget about me.
His ankle was fucked up.
Okay.
But I mean, it's like you can
injury.
see him limping before they put him on IR, like walking around.
Well, he was never on IR, so and there is a difference between IR and PUP. The number of games that you need to not play is the same, but they're different classifications. Jonathan Taylor was on the PUP list for 2 reasons: 1, ankle, and 2, personal. He was not with the team, frankly, because he didn't want to be.
There is a strategy to putting people on IR, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
What is the strategy behind?
Well, I mean, if they're gonna, like, Austin Eckler could have gone on IR, right? They haven't put him on IR, right? And so it's
bring somebody else in.
It could be a deke, right? Saying, hey, you never know if he's gonna play, to your opponent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But don't you get to bring someone else in if they're on IR? Like, you don't.
Yes.
Yeah, you can bring somebody up from the
bring somebody else, sign somebody else to the
practice. But what is that gonna do? I mean, for real, what's that gonna do? Like, it's
another
rarely works out to be something like that.
That's something that matters to us that play fantasy.
The fact
real football, you don't care.
The fact that, and Clint makes a really good point, the fact that the Chargers did not put Austin Eckler on IR, the fact that the Giants have not put Saquon Barkley on AR, means that they think he can come back and play in less than 4 games. Now, bear in mind, the Chargers are off this week. It's their bye week.
Right.
That's why they didn't put him on IR.
If they had put him on IR, this wouldn't have counted as.
So he wouldn't be able to play until week 6.
And IR is what?
No, 7. Sorry, 7.
Yeah.
What is IR? 4, 3?
4 weeks.
4 weeks minimum.
4 weeks minimum.
And then a 21-day window.
Right.
There's 2 different kinds of IR. There's season-ending IR, and there's temporary IR is what I guess you can call it, which is
that's the 4 weeks, right?
Yeah. Somebody who was it? Give me the player who just blew his knee out.
Chubb.
Nick
Chubb.
Chubb is on season-ending IR.
Yeah.
He's not coming back in 4 weeks. That frees up that position. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of Nick Chubb, being a Browns fan.
I thought you were trying to think Dobbins.
Question for you: is Aaron Rodgers on season-ending IR?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because I heard that he's talking about coming back for the playoffs.
Talking about coming back this season.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
He's coaching. He's coaching
on an Achilles.
This was
Cam
a DFS
Akers was
play
not
for this
put on
week.
season. Cam Akers was not.
He ain't
put
Cam
on
Akers.
season-ending
He
IR.
ain't Cam Akers.
I'm not saying he is, but Cam Akers was. If Cam Akers was put on season-ending IR, he would not have been eligible to play in
Aaron
the 2018
feels
Super
that
Bowl.
he can coach Zach Wilson, whatever.
But he can coach you from the sideline without being.
That's what he's talking about. But he's going to take over in the play. He's going to get him to the playoffs and take over. Is what he's saying.
No, he's not.
Okay.
How the hell they gonna get to the playoffs?
Can we
First of all, how the hell they gonna get to the playoffs?
Hey, hold on. Look, can we actually? I want to finish this IR conversation. Then I want to talk about Zach Wilson and the Jets. Can we come back to that? Is that okay?
Yeah. That's
okay.
Cool.
All right. So speaking of PUP list and coming off the PUP list and having to wait 21 days, the Cardinals decided not to take Kyler Murray off the PUP list. And the owner said, or the GM said, he wants him to practice for at least 2 weeks before they activate him. So, and we already talked about there's 21 days that they have to activate us. So they have 3 weeks of practice before they absolutely have to activate him. And them not bringing him off the PUP list, like, what do you think that says? Like, he's not ready, he's still injured
Two words. Caleb Williams. I mean, that's it.
I mean, I get it. Because why not?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Unless you have sold yourself on the Drake May train, that's gonna be your only reason why.
Yeah, Kyler Murray is a good player, but he's Kyler Murray.
He's an Oompa Loompa.
He's
a
fast Oompa Loompa, though.
Yeah, he's hurt a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to back up the IR. If you are on season-ending, is that a legal move by A-Raj to come back? Like, hypothetically, you can go through season-ending, but then
that's up to the team to put him on season
playoffs.
Well, so Lauren, I think the reason that Ian brought up Cam Akers is because that's what happened last year. So Cam Akers went out early, blew out his ACL. They didn't put him on season-ending IR because he's a young kid, blah blah blah. And so then he comes back and plays.
That was an ACL. I thought that was Achilles.
Achilles.
Oh,
No, that was an Achilles.
And then played,
That's even worse.
And then played at the end of the year,
Super Bowl.
right? So they
The Achilles should have put him out a
season-ending
year
IR.
and a half.
but they
minimum year and
put
a half.
Aaron Rodgers on season-ending IR.
No. I did not know. According to Ian just said they did not because
Oh,
he
okay.
wants
So
to
they
come
really
back
do
and play.
think he really does. Okay.
Aaron Rodgers' goal. He knows the Jets aren't making it to the playoffs this year. Aaron Rodgers' goal
But it still
is to play in Week 18.
Dolphins got that sewed up, bro.
That's what he wants. Aaron Rodgers just wants to play in Week 18 and build this momentum. This
He wants to have like all this attention for the next several months.
Of course he does, and
'Cause
then
he is an
come back
attention
next
whore.
year. He is.
Yeah.
But normally we trash Aaron for that, but that sounds kind of smart. Put it back on the dude they already hate because Zach Wilson got enough hate on him.
Oh, yeah.
already.
You know
That's
what?
actually a good move by Aaron as a vet. Just put all the heat back on yourself.
Aaron Rodgers is just a narcissistic asshole, but he's not
Yeah.
stupid. He's
Yeah.
not a dumb man. We didn't talk about, and I do want to talk about real briefly, Clint, before we jump off.
Yeah.
Of this,
Yeah.
is we talked a lot about JT and we talked a little bit about Kyler. We haven't spoken a lot about Kupp.
Right.
Kupp-
We needed to get to that for sure.
Yeah, so Kupp is in the same exact position as Jonathan Taylor. The difference is he's being
him.
activated. He's going to play.
Right.
There's two questions. The first question is, when do you trust Kupp? Because he's going to come in on a pitch count the first couple of weeks, and then the flip side of that same question, how much do you trust Kupp, or when do you trust Kupp, is how long do you continue to trust Puka? There's two different things happening at the same time, and I'm interested in your guys' opinions.
Okay. I definitely have an opinion. Rams are 2-2. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Go ahead, Clint.
So look, Ian. So I'm of a couple of different thought processes here with Puka. So to start there, so I think the loser in Cooper Kupp coming back is Tutu Atwell, not Puka, right? So I just think that now Matt Stafford, and this is going to be perfect for what I told you guys yesterday that I wanted to talk about real quick. Puka is going to be the number 2 when Cooper Kupp comes back because you are not going to put the Cooper Kupp at number 2 at the 2 receiver. You're just not going to do that. He's going to be your main target no matter what, right? Puka has earned number 2 and has earned the trust of Stafford, and so now Stafford's just going to have 2 targets that are just pretty much unstoppable, right?
Which he's had before,
the depth of Tutu and the depth of Higbee.
Right. So, which I want to, the stat that is crazy that we talked about yesterday in our group chat, Matthew Stafford is on pace for 5,200 yards passing.
Yeah.
And 12 touchdowns. Because Kyren Williams has been so good at the goal line. Right.
Kyren Williams is hurt too. He's got a hip.
Right. And it's just a crazy ass stat. Right. It's
Rivers.
But it's going to be great for both of them because now Cooper doesn't have to come back at full strength right away. Right.
Yeah.
They can work him in like you were talking about. And then Puka can just, carry him on his back for a game, maybe 2. But Sean McVay has a track record of telling the truth when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? So
Jeff,
it's like so like when somebody's hurt and he says they're going to come back, they're going to come back. When he says he's going to come back and he says Kupp will be back either this week or next week, right? No, I agree, Brian. I mean, no. So hold on a second. Because here's if Cooper Kupp is starting and they say he's starting, you have to play him. Like, unless you're in a 2 wide receiver league with no flex, you have to play him. Like, have
to play him? Do you really? The first week?
I would not play him the first or second week.
I think there's a lot of people out there that feels obligated to play him because of draft capital. Now, I know we've talked about this on the show. Draft capital means nothing after the draft is over.
I don't know.
After the draft is over, right? So I think
Brian,
I think Puka. So Brian, here's where I'm going to disagree with you here, man. I don't think he gets 7 to 8 looks a game. I think he still continues to get 12 to 13 to 15 looks a game. But I think Cup also gets 10 to 15 looks a game, and that's where Tutu Atwell.
Well, that's why I said there's no more Atwell. Higbee will die off.
Yeah.
Van Jefferson, you can drop him.
Right, you can drop Van Jefferson. You can drop. Anybody. You keep Tutu Atwell just in case Cooper Kupp.
In case one of those two gets hurt. That's
You
it.
can drop Kyron, actually.
No, you can't. He's too good at the goal line, bro.
If you're getting 24 targets just between your two wide receivers, plus a spattering to Tutu, plus a spattering to Skoranek, plus a spattering to Higbee.
Bruh.
Shout out to Jay Higbeast. I'm exaggerating when I say you can drop Kyron. You're not dropping Kyron Williams, but I'm saying he is somebody who gets hurt.
Yeah,
Cooper and Puka are both getting 12 targets a game.
And Brian, I get it. Right? That depends on your situation as far as fantasy goes, and that's why I said it depends if you're in a league with flex position or not. Because, like, personally, I'm in a league that is 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a super flex. So you can't play a wide receiver or running back unless you have McCaffrey and Jacobs and A-Chain. Then it would be okay, maybe, right? But you're always playing 2 quarterbacks, and so I don't have that flexibility in that league. I don't have Puka on any of my rosters.
All right, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Which is not so, it's more like female drama and football question. So I heard this thing about Sean McVay and Cam Akers. And I don't know if you guys read that or heard it. I heard that he
made a comment about his wife.
Yeah. And I was like, hold on a sec. Because, like, he said that was why he wanted Jared Goff, too. And I was like, I could kind of see that.
Or so did Goff.
That's true.
First of all, Sean McVay's
what was the comment? I didn't see the comment. What was the comment?
That he would
Cam Akers wanted to bang his wife. And
Sean McVay's wife is hot. Jared Goff did the same thing, and Jared Goff got traded.
Yeah.
So Sean McVay is listen, he's possessive of his wife. Look up his wife. She's a European model. She is a 10.
The guys can't even talk about it.
Please don't trade me, Sean McVay, since I called your wife hot. Like when you see this. But there's a track record, and it's absolutely probably true. Absolutely, probably. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my God.
Absolutely, probably.
That Cam Akers was traded because
depth research I'm doing over here.
So do you think it's – then I also, just on the topic, I saw a comment Andy Reid made about Kadarius Toney. I don't know if that was true or not. But
what did he say?
He said Taylor Swift had better hands.
Who
had better hands?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
He would rather have Taylor Swift out there, her height.
I don't think Andy Reid seriously, though.
Guys, so look, let's talk about this since we're talking about this. We would be remiss if we
we're talking about Taylor Swift. I'm muting myself.
No, hold on. Ian. No, what I want to do is I just want to say, like, y'all saw the impact this had, right? Like, on the viewership, right? Like, so the NBA Finals had 11 million viewers, right? Like, the last game of the NBA Finals had 11 million viewers. The NFL normally gets 13 million viewers on Sunday Night Football, and it had 33 million viewers or 27, something. One of those two numbers. I can't remember which one it was, but that is not because of the matchup.
No,
I mean, right? I am a certified.
I mean, it was Zach Wilson. Who didn't tune in to watch Zach Wilson?
Donna Kelsey came to watch Zach Wilson.
I was watching for Mama Kelsey. I don't really know who else.
Y'all want to know who the most excited person in the building was on that night? No, it was Brittany Mahomes.
Oh yeah,
because she got to chill and chat it up with Taylor Swift all night long.
I feel like I saw some really funny
I like Taylor Swift even less now. If they were chatty, I like her even less now.
The most excited person in that stadium on Sunday night was Chris Collinsworth because he wants to bang Patrick Mahomes worse than Cam Akers wants to bang Sean McVay's wife.
Yeah.
Get off Mahomes' dick, Chris.
I love Taylor, and I think that she could do better.
Yeah.
I feel like I should mute myself the fact that we've allowed Taylor Swift.
Look, Brian, I don't even know if they're dating, bro. Like, I don't like.
No, they are.
They are. They say a lot of things.
Not officially.
No, they let the way you don't hold hands with your guy pal and jump it. They're dating. It's just I don't know. I think Taylor could do better.
Can we talk about the Eagles, Swift and Kelsey? Because we also have a Swift and a Kelsey. And I think
we should go to that. Yeah, why don't you go to that?
He doesn't want to talk. It's me.
Okay.
Hi.
I can't stand stand Taylor Swift. I can't.
Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. We have 5 minutes left before we need to get into Lauren's DFS segment. So let's talk about the Zach Wilson led Jets, right? And how Aaron Rodgers, they said him being there is what motivated Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson is the only person, and I know y'all all saw this because I saw it. I know y'all did. Zach Wilson is the only person to outperform Patrick Mahomes 1v1.
You'd see that. Ever.
This year?
No,
ever. He had more yards. What was it? Like more yards,
more touchdowns, less picks.
More touchdowns, less interceptions.
Ever.
First time it ever happened.
I would argue that Jalen Hurts outplayed him in the Super Bowl.
It was the first game that the opposing quarterback ever had more yards, more touchdowns, and less picks.
Yeah. I wonder, how much. I really wonder, if Aaron Rodgers hangs. Because I thought it was interesting because this week, I almost picked him up, and I'm probably gonna use him in DFS lineups, and it makes you want to vomit a little.
It makes you want to lose money, is what it makes you want to do.
No, because do you know who he's playing this weekend?
I don't care. Who?
Denver.
Hold on. In the effort of just to rewind for a second, in the effort of research and fairness, we are going to take a look at the upper corner of Sean McVay's wife here. So, on the Cam Akers scale of bangable to 0, she is a what?
Worth going to Minnesota for?
I don't see. Yeah. Okay.
She wasn't worth going to Minnesota. She's not worth
Minnesota. I don't know.
So is this a 0 to 10 scale?
Hot or not? That's what it is.
We're going to give you 0 to 10. We'll give you 20 seconds.
Up a little bit. I mean,
you don't need 20 seconds.
I wouldn't do her.
Need 20 seconds.
Lauren, stop.
I wouldn't do her with Jeff's wiener and you pushing
Wow. Ouch. So that's crazy.
And I will drink to that. Thank you.
So I'll get you in.
No, look. Not brunettes aren't for everybody, I guess. I'm just saying, she's not bad looking.
That's just one picture. Look at her. Find her as a blonde. She's gorgeous.
Oh, no, look, she's gorgeous either way. Lauren is being recorded.
Oh, and that's just too long. Look. This is going to be
art. I don't know. She's just
hold on, Brian. Are you talking about Cam Akers?
Cam.
All right. So Zach Wilson actually played a really good game. Right, he played a really well-rounded.
He did.
Game. He's got to have an earpiece in straight to A-Raj. I don't get
sure.
The part that I like the best about the Zach Wilson game. Did you see Chris Jones in the interview with Rodney Harrison afterwards? Did anybody else get a chance to see that? I liked how Chris Jones said, "Hey, this man is not garbage." Then Michael Parsons came out the next day on his podcast and he did 30 minutes on it.
He did.
Dude, this dude is a professional quarterback. I need to back the fuck up.
Yeah. But he's not.
I wonder, we got to the point we just judged everybody by fantasy numbers.
No, but he is really that terrible.
Is that what it is?
It's all of a sudden.
Is he that terrible? I'm just thinking about, okay, you work on a job, whatever job that you work on.
I mean, he's an NFL.
There are maybe a million people in the world that do your job. Okay, great. But when there's a job, there's only 32 to 64 of these jobs a year. He can't be trash.
Hold on,
I think we need to come up with a new way of judging people.
All right, who is worse than him? Desmond Ridder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Bryce Young at the moment?
Ryan Tannehill?
Look, I would rather have Zach Wilson than Bryce Young.
I would rather
too.
Taylor Swift.
I would rather have Zach Wilson than. I think that's the end of the list. Is Bryce Young,
Ryan Tannehill?
No, I don't think so, bro.
For what if all things are equal versus contract, age, ability, I would rather take a shot on young Zach Wilson than broke down Derek Carr right now.
Ooh,
I would rather have Zach Wilson as my backup as opposed to Jameis.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Or Tyler Heineke or Jacoby Brissett.
Take over Wilson.
I mean, it's a lot of dudes.
Heineke was great last year.
Yeah,
so Lauren, real quick before we get into your DFS segment, tell us a little bit about Derek Carr and the Saints.
I don't know, man. He's hurt, and I don't understand why he played last week. Like, I personally think, I know that Jameis didn't do anything for the one play he came out, but I think they should have put Jameis and Taysom in together and do like the same combo, because it's a revenge game. It's in the dome. Like that would have been a good game for Jameis to stay in. But no, he's hurt, and I'm sure he wanted to do it. It was a home game. It's Tampa Bay. Like, he felt the need, and I don't know what to say about Baker. Like, maybe he's not.
He's so good.
Yeah, like
okay.
And the thing is, he gets so fired up, and you see him get everybody else fired.
I love that guy.
He wants to be I do too. Like,
his commercials.
I wasn't sad that they lost. I was like, because he went out. I mean, he takes hits. And he just bounces back up and just I got respect for the little guy.
Those commercials he did when he was in Cleveland.
I love his commercials.
Money time. Okay, so
I'm scared. Hold on. We have to call it audible. I'm scared to even go down this road. But this comment does require addressing here from Mr. Gilly here. Let's take a look at this at the same time here. Let me throw y'all a curveball. I'm not just a football fan, but I was also a college All-American at North Carolina State University.
Nice.
And I hate to say it, but I'm starting to see the evidence in the NFL of scripted play.
Okay, so Brian, first and foremost, what position did you play? And I love that you played at Central. Go Eagles. I'm okay with all of that. Number two, I mean, it's been said, and I've never been in that, but I will tell you, I have friends, like multiple, that have played in the NFL, and they all call bullshit. Now, that is
bullshit. That it's scripted or not?
Yeah, no, it's not scripted. I have 7 or 8 friends that legitimately played in the NFL that I've talked to about this, and they some just retired after 10 or 12 years. Some played 6 or 7. Some played 3. Right? Yeah. But they've all said no. We were never handed a script. Now, that was 2 years ago. Right? But
I would never say scripted, but I would say that there have been more Tim Donahue in the NFL that we probably don't know anything about.
Yeah, I don't think
anything else.
We've all seen the commercials with Keegan Michael Kay, who's like, here's the script for this year. Go to page 32 and look at that. I get it. I do not believe that the NFL is scripted. I do subscribe to the fact that it could be the officiating, whether it's the officials themselves or the officiating being directed by the league, will lean towards or against a certain team at a certain
Tom Brady,
time.
Mahomes.
I'm not talking about Pat. Enough with Tom Brady. I'm talking about last week.
I'm talking about every game, every single game. Since with the NFL having their hands in with Vegas.
It was in the Eagles versus the Commanders game, Lane Johnson false started at least 4 times by kicking his leg back too soon.
Yeah. They all do that. All left and right tackles do that, bro.
But
especially left tackles.
Every once in a while it's called. And when it's called, everybody's this happens all the time. Why are you calling it now? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about when I say the officiating can lean a game.
Be manipulated.
Now, whether or not that is the official doing it on that crew, doing it on their own, if it's happening at all, or whether that directive is coming from a league office, I don't know. And I can't even venture to guess. But I could see that as a I don't see it as a likelihood.
I agree, Brian.
I see it as a far greater likelihood than the NFL being scripted. I don't see
it. No, and I agree with Brian here.
Impossible. Yeah. But I mean, there's got to be it's possible, but
what was your boy?
I would lean more towards the referee, more towards
what was your boy in the in the NBA? What was your boy's name?
Tim Donaghy.
Tim Donaghy.
Yeah.
Donaghy.
But he was in with the mob. But I'm thinking more of NFL is saying, hey, I don't want if we got down to a moment, like every now and then they have to give you a moment. Like they have to give you a Panthers Broncos Super Bowl because Cam was hot at the moment and everybody loves Tate.
Yeah.
But generally, when they're sitting in the office the day after this Super Bowl, they're already thinking ahead. Sure would be great if we could get Mahomes v. whoever this next guy is. If Burrow is going to sign, if we can't get Mahomes, and don't think they don't play the race cards and stuff, it would be great if we could get a Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Lamar Jalen Hurts kind of. They play all of these angles out in their heads, and so they can yield.
Yeah. What would you rather see, Jeff? Like not you. I know what your answer is personally, but from the NFL, from the fans, and what would get the best ratings. What would you prefer to see in the Super Bowl?
And that's what I was leading to, the ratings.
Would you rather see the 49ers play the Bills?
Yes.
Or would you rather see the 49ers play the Dolphins? The Dolphins are a good team, but if you want those listen, you can hype up Josh Allen and how he's been trying to get over that hump for so many years. And Tua would be a great story. Tyreek would be a great story. I think from a ratings perspective, I think that they would choose Buffalo. So if they're going,
that's why I say the referees, and it's not really a script. It's more of a fluid play because it's like nobody cares about Miami till they score 7. Now, had they beat Buffalo, it would be ridiculously crazy this week.
That would be
And
different.
if people want to see Tyreek get 2,000, a wide receiver win MVP,
I definitely
the league would probably want to pump that up as opposed to Josh Allen doing what he normally does in a big game.
Okay, so can I pose y'all a scenario?
Sure.
So let's say, and then we need to get to Lauren's segment because we need to talk about DFS. So let's say Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are still dating when it comes towards the end of the season. If the NFL script stuff, they're going to want Kansas City in the Super Bowl because the merch would go bonker.
Then magically Taylor will do the halftime show.
No, Usher's already doing the halftime show. Usher's already.
No, what I was going to say that magically somehow Taylor will end up on stage with Usher, which are really.
They've already said
that Taylor Swift is from Philly. Yeah, that would be fun.
Now, but look, hold on. They've already said that Usher was doing the halftime show. That's already been announced. And
really?
Kim Kardashian, for some odd reason, is going to be there as well. And he knows how she's going to be involved.
Right. What the hell is Kim Kardashian doing at the halftime of the Super Bowl?
Shake her ass.
Is she fucking Usher now? We don't
probably.
God, I hope not.
It may happen.
He's black, probably.
So Ian. So
DFS,
let's talk. So Lauren, let's talk about DFS real quick. So this Lauren's DFS segment is going to be called DFS for Dummies. So I don't play DFS. I need to know the things about DFS, and so start from the very beginning.
So it is like, and I apologize. The wolf is going ape shit, right? So all the barking that's going on, I'm not sure what's
higher wolf you have.
She is. She's like running around like a crazy. So it's really complicated. It took me I'm not like very recently it's finally occurred to me how you do it, because when you start in DFS, they have all these different categories of like, you can do main slate, which is like this week it'll be 10 games. You can do Thursday to Sunday. You can do Monday. You can do just the late slate. It gets to be super complicated. When after you pick your time slot, then you've got multipliers, double ups, tournaments, head-to-head competitions, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, I used to always play like the $5 lineups, and the first prize is $1 million or something, or it's $100,000. And every Sunday I would do that, and I was like, maybe this will be the Sunday. I came close that once. You remember last season? Yes.
Don't they give away things? Like say, hey, I want to sign up for DraftKings. Don't I get like a free something if I do that?
Oh yeah, they'll give you. They have like promos and stuff like that. No, it's not a fake wolf.
Yeah, you can't cash that free money out. You can just
next time she comes down, I'll grab her.
You can just gamble with it. You can't cash it.
You can. I thought you could cash it out. No,
it's like going.
But with the fake money, what happens? I just win more fake money.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm wondering, right?
Well, this is the thing that it took me a really long time. They have things they call cash games versus tournaments. When she comes back down, Robert.
I need you to talk
cash
to your
games are like
cousins about coming up with these scams all the time.
All right, Lauren, we got it.
So the cash games are essentially like, I don't know, say there's it's $5 to enter. The first 2,500 people get $10 each or something like that. So that's called a cash game. And the reason those are the kind you want to do a couple of those every week because you want to be able to sustain your bankroll. So cash games are a little bit easier because you're not trying to come in 1 out of 300,000 or 50,000. You're just trying to come, there's 5,000. You're trying to get in the first 2,500 and you get your $10. So your lineups don't have to be as strict. They can,
Is Super Ball considered DFS?
I don't know. I think there is a super, like best ball or whatever.
Maybe. Is it best ball or Super Ball? I don't know.
Do the double ups, the multipliers and stuff. Okay. But so you got to do in those lineups, like some of the expert, because I listen to a lot because I'm trying to win the big bucks sometimes. That's when you could do something like you could pay up and get, I don't know, 3 really good wide receivers and maybe put 2 tight ends in because tight ends are usually super cheap. But you can't do that kind of play in a tournament. In a tournament, you're going to have to pick dead nuts. If you want to win the 50,000, 100,000, you're going to have to pick the team that's going to score the most. You can't just get in the top half of it. So you want to like have a couple cash games every week and then do your tournaments also so that you can keep making money. And I think Merrill was saying he makes like $150 a week, and that's he rolls it over week to week. So you have to balance your cash games with your tournaments. And then the way that you make money in cash games, you got to pick the right stack. I last week ate shit because I listened to an analyst and picked the Joe Burrow stack because I didn't want to. I was like, this is stupid. I was actually more on the Justin Herbert stack, but I was like, all right, you know what, whatever. No, that was terrible. So I didn't win anything last week. And because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they were a little bit cheaper, but it was a terrible stack. It was absolute garbage. So you always want to look at where do you think the highest point value is and who's going to get those points. And you always want to have a stack and then a bring back, like somebody from the other team to bring that back.
So a great stack last week would have been Justin Fields and DJ.
Yes. People that did Justin Fields for shits and giggles won some money. And he was cheaper. And that's why I said this week was Zach Wilson sucks. But like at the same time, Zach Wilson's like, I think like 4,900 and like everything like 6,000. Yeah, no, 4,900 is pretty cheap because like Lamar's probably 85 or something. I don't know.
So what do you get? So do you get like $100,000 to spend on all your players?
Right. You get, I think it's 60, and you have to do your lineup based on this salary, and that's where
it's a salary.
It's fun. It's difficult sometimes. A lot of people I see are really big into, a lot of the analysts, they do more on the wide receivers because DraftKings is PPR. FanDuel is standard. So if you're going to do DraftKings and PPR, you want to do putting in those like high dollar value wide receivers and then finding some like value in tight ends, maybe defense. Although I hate doing cheap defense because it always ends up screwing me. But like this week, I'm actually thinking about just putting Wan'Dale Robinson in every lineup because he's like $3,000. All I need him to do for cash games is just give me like 5 points, and because he's so cheap, I can stack my other top wide receivers.
Allen,
so he gets he gets a lot of passes. Did
you win? You got to tell us, Brian. Did you win with that Allen Diggs stack? That hurts to even know that you had that.
He's another one.
I had to go to Brian Gillies' school of DraftKings. Jeez.
You had to have won if you had the Allen. Diggs had 3 touchdowns by himself.
I mean, unless his next wide receiver was T. Higgins or something like that. I mean, goddamn, how the hell did you lose?
He's not answering. He didn't win.
McCaffrey was the one the last week is like you had to have him, and that sucked too because he is the most expensive player every week.
Well, he was worth it last week.
But he's always worth it. You have to be really smart about.
He's not going to score 48 points every week, though.
From what I understand, he was 9,200 last week.
Something, yeah. It's always
like that.
Always in the 9,000.
But dude scored. So in my league of record that Ferg and I are in together, he scored 56. 50. I know in another league he scored 49 because of the half point PPR.
So 9,200.
I'm gonna pull up a lineup.
Right there. That's a lot.
But hold on a second though, because I heard you can save things on like really good match. You can save money on really good matchups with defense. Like for instance, this week, Arizona plays who? The Jets, right?
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Arizona plays the Jets, right?
But you can't. No, the Jets play the Broncos. Arizona plays the Bengals. So I don't even touch
and
that.
The Bengals. No, hold on a second. The Bengals have been giving up 7 sacks a game to the opposing defense, right?
You can do that, but then here's the problem, though. This is
Arizona has been good. Arizona's defense has been good against good teams.
Yeah, but then there's always that other defense. Like last week, if you didn't have Seattle's defense, you're in trouble.
I had Dallas's defense. I was great.
Dallas's defense, but week one, like that.
Let me slide this in here. I'm going to slide this in here in case we don't get to come back around to these teams. So just a little side note, I have to shout out to our favorite hater, Lauren's nephew, Aiden. His name of his fantasy team is Jeff's daddy. We just touched on defense. I was on the phone with Lauren Sunday night. Well, maybe Monday afternoon, Monday evening. Me and Lauren were talking, and I was like, you need to get Aiden to come on the show so I can talk about how I whooped the shit out of him. And now he had Seattle defense, and I looked at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This dude came back. I was up 28 and lost by 2.
Oh, bro.
So shout out to Aiden. Hey, Bubba. Can't wait to get you back on the show, but I will acknowledge he did whoop my ass.
Damn,
in the Lauren family league.
I won one of my leagues.
You whooped his ass, I thought.
No, he had Seattle defense and walked me down.
What? I didn't pay attention because we were talking on the phone.
Lauren, come on. Look, Seattle's defense was that shit. Hey, Ian, do you have the game on in the background?
I do not. The game is
on. Oh, you should. It started already. So, by the way.
All
right. So, Lauren, give us your DFS lineup for the week, and then we're going to touch on some fantasy stuff.
All right. Well, let's just do one together.
Let's do one together.
All right. So I'm going quarterback. The top of the list, Patrick Mahomes in Minnesota.
Okay. First of all, hold on. How much money do you have to spend?
You have $50,000.
$50,000. So whenever you name who you're picking, give us your top 2 choices and how much money you're spending on and why you're choosing them. Give us 5 minutes.
I actually never play Patrick Mahomes because, so just side note, and that we don't have to we can actually not do a whole lineup, but Patrick Mahomes, I think, is really hard because who do you stack him with? And
nobody.
But Kelsey.
Kelsey is really expensive too.
Yeah.
So like it's not.
Kelsey's probably $9,000 or so.
He might be in the 8s, but yeah. So you got Mahomes. What?
How much is
Kirk? I can tell you. I'm already tell you.
He's going up against Kansas City.
They should throw a lot.
I'm hands across the board putting Tua out this week. He's at home against the Giants.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah,
they're gonna run the ball a lot.
Who are the Broncos playing again? Who are the Broncos playing?
The Broncos are playing. So that's gonna be my other stack because I think it's funny. The Jets.
AETS.
And the Browns are playing the Manders. So what about instead of the Wilson, instead of the Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson?
No, the Browns aren't playing the Commanders. Commanders are playing Fields.
The Bears are playing the Commanders.
Yeah.
So what about the Sam Howell, Terry McLaurin stack instead of the Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson stack?
You could do that. It's just Zach Wilson is probably the cheapest one on here. That's not a backup.
How much is Sam Howell? How much is Sam Howell?
I'm trying to find. I think. Zach Wilson is $4,900.
And how much is Sam Howell?
Sam Howell is
$5,400.
Is that what time is that game?
I don't know.
Thursday night.
That's why. So it's not on. It's not on the main slate.
It's probably not on what she's looking at for Sunday. They don't normally mix.
Yeah. So I will do Tua, and I'm going to do Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Although Jared Goff's in the dome, and that's all. When Jared Goff's
you're really gonna play Zach Wilson for money though? I mean, I was kidding about not being garbage.
I lost everything. I got to get my cash game.
Let's not underestimate how much Denver fucking sucks.
Yeah,
they do fucking suck.
Okay. I will put Zach in, and I might stack him. I might stack him just because I love the man.
Garrett Wilson.
Breece Hall's about to have a day.
Okay, so how much is Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson
since that's the stack, how much is he?
Ought to be 79 minimum.
Probably
65.
78.
6,000.
Wow.
So,
Even-
Okay.
for
cheap.
comparison,
Got my man in the damn discount bargain bin.
AJ's 9,400.
Okay. So how much is Zach? 45.
Zach is 49, and
Garrett
Garrett's
is 6. So that's
Yeah.
$11,000 or 10,900.
so that's
on
almost
stat.
the same as just JJ.
That may be a great stat.
Yeah.
But JJ
That's a
might
great
have
stat.
8 catches for 195 and 3 touchdowns. And they
So
still might
now
lose
here's
by
the thing.
20.
If I use Zach and Garrett, then I could probably find a way to do Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill at 9,400, 9,000. Then I just have to go 2 tight ends that are like Smythe or whatever from from Miami. He's super cheap. Maybe I do Wandell at 3,000, and then
So can I ask you a question? How much is a Kirk Cousins JJ stat?
JJ's 94.
It's gotta-
Cousins is
It's got to be 16,000.
17, 16, 17.
Kirk's probably 6,000.
Kurt's
He's
69.
gotta
Yeah,
be more.
Kurt gets a decent amount.
7 grand.
So you got 16,
16,000.
17 grand.
So
Yeah,
15,
16,
17. So let me ask you a question. Would the Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson at 10-9 be a better value this week than the Kirk Cousins JJ?
I think so, because what I'll do is I'm gonna do a skinny stack on that one. I'm not gonna have a bring back because I don't want anyone from Denver. At least that's how I'm thinking in my head. I mean, I guess I don't know, Marvin Mims. You're supposed to typically have
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton would be
at
the
that point,
play.
I'd rather do a skinny stack.
Cortland Sutton.
No,
Well-
I'd rather do Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, pick up Garrett Wilson, Zach, go for a cheap tight end, like some cheap running backs.
So-
Maybe I put A-Chain in or something, and then maybe I get the 2 best wide receivers that are both almost 8 or over 18,000.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. So would you – Javonte Williams does not play,
No.
right?
Oh yeah, that what's his
And
face?
Jerry
Yeah.
Judy.
Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine
Other guy.
is a play this week.
The rookie is the play.
No,
That's-
because
yeah.
Samaje catches the ball.
Yeah, but the rookie.
Jamil runs the ball.
Can I throw one out there that I got swimming in my head? I don't really do a lot of DFS.
McLaughlin, he's
But
5,000. Oh,
Could
Perine
you
is
spend the
cheaper,
money and play Tyreek and Justin Jefferson
Ooh,
and then play Bryce
where do
Young
you – oh,
with
fuck.
Adam Thielen?
Okay, so
because-
let me
Sometimes,
Well-
for some reason, in the last 5 weeks, I think we have neglected the fact that Adam
He's
Thielen's
young,
the number
though.
10 wide
Okay,
receiver.
he's the number 7 wide receiver in fantasy football.
fantasy
Lauren, let me ask you a
football.
question. How much is the
Would you be
CJ
scared to do that?
Stroud, Nico Collins stack?
CJ is starting to go up because that was
CJ and Nico's a
CJ
nice
and
stack.
Anthony Richardson are starting
That's
to go
a
up
nice
because that's people been CJ's 6,000.
Okay, so how
That's
much is
not
Nico?
a lot.
No, it's not, but it's starting to like Anthony Richardson's won some people some money too.
How much is Nico?
Is 5,600.
So you have
Tank Dell.
11,6. So 11,6 for CJ
And
and
Nico,
Nico,
Yeah.
and 10-9 for Zach and Garrett.
I
Right.
love Nico and CJ there. That's
Same.
a better stack.
But you could
Same.
also do Tank
That
Dell.
is a better
Right,
stack.
where is he?
No, I want-
Tank
Yes, but Tank Dell, like
Tank
he
is
had a
4,800.
Tank
Well,
Dell is the
hey,
2. Nico's
by
the
the
one.
way, Ian Schwarber just struck out the leadoff.
Yeah, I'm watching it on my
Okay.
my
All right.
other screen.
This
All right,
is a
so-
football show.
So let's switch gears a little bit here. Let's talk a little bit of fantasy. So Ian and Ferg, I like Love and Dobbs
That's a good
too.
one too, Brian.
Yeah, I like Love and Dobbs.
I've been
so
sneaking Jordan Love in. I do
so
like.
we get continue the DFS in the chat if you guys like, because
Yeah, and
that's
while
something
doing
that's
that,
something
I'm
we
gonna
need
see
to
if I
do.
can
So
actually
we'll
get
figure it out.
So Lauren,
in a lineup.
Lauren, man the chat and answer DFS questions.
Gotcha.
So Ian and Ferg were having a conversation earlier this week about great fantasy draft qualities and traits that you have when you're drafting fantasy football. And on the adverse, what are your bad traits? So you guys have had a longer conversation about this. So let me put my 2 cents in, and then I'm gonna let y'all run with it. So my worst draft quality is that I second guess myself. And you can't second guess yourself when you're playing fantasy football, right? Like I will always second guess myself, and that'll lead me to pick Lamar Jackson instead of Jalen Hurts, right? Just something like that. Like not for real example, but something like that, right? So then My greatest trait is that I always draft running back, wide receiver, or wide receiver, running back, unless it's a super flex. And we can talk about that in a little bit. Unless it's a super flex, I always draft running back, wide receiver first until the culture shifts in the NFL, which it's starting to. Don't get me wrong, because I'd rather have Tyreek Hill I'd rather have Christian McCaffrey than Tyreek Hill still, right? So this is what it's going. Tell me you guys wouldn't, right? Rather have Christian McCaffrey than Tyreek Hill, but so my greatest quality and trait is that I always draft running back, wide receiver, or wide receiver, running back, depending on what the league is like. So Ian, let's go to you.
So my greatest weakness or my worst character trait when it comes to drafting a fantasy team, I have kind of two that I kind of go back and forth on. One is I still live in a lot of leagues that still have defense and kicker. I am a believer in defense and kicker. I think I'm a dying breed, but I believe in it. I believe in the value. I believe in the strategy and having those positions. I always overvalue a defense and a kicker. I'm the guy who's going to jump at San Francisco for their defense in round 9. I'm the guy who's going to jump at Justin Tucker in round 11. And while it's great to
please
have them,
do that, Ian. I like it.
So I do it every year, and I always do well. Like I don't like kicker and defense is never a position that I have to worry about streaming. I've got it set. But who else could I have gotten at round 9 or round 11? So I always overvalue those two. My other weakest point is that sometimes I will get fixated in filling my starting lineup
before
I'll touch my bench. Whereas
I get that.
If you're not getting Kelsey or Hawkinson, or really that's it. Like in the first, as your tight end, I will draft a tight end in round 6 because there's only a couple decent ones left before getting a player on my bench. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I do it well. Sometimes I don't. And
okay, so can I ask a question? I want to intervene real quick. So this is for Ian and Ferg. Lauren, I don't know how many leagues you're in, but I know they're in. I know Ian's in a few, and I know Ferg is in a couple, 120 something at this point. So
123 now.
So what I want to know is, are you in any leagues where? So I was talking to a coworker of mine earlier, and he's in a sleeper league that has added value points to the tight end, so they get 1.5 points per catch.
It's a tight end
premium.
Yes. So are you guys in any of those leagues? And if so, how does that change?
I'm in every possible league.
Tight end. Tight end. I'm in. So I commish like 9 or 10 leagues. I'm in, I think 19 this year. I cut it down, but I'm in quite a few leagues that have a tight end premium or a running back premium. If I'm in,
what's the running back premium look like?
You get an extra point per reception.
Why do you need that for running backs though? Tight ends, I get
how some leagues do. In those leagues that have that, I have McCaffrey, Eckler, and Saquon on every single roster. Why wouldn't you? In the tight end premium, in a league that has a tight end premium, whether it's a point, most of it is a point. Sometimes you'll see a half point, maybe once in a while, 1.5 points. The norm is usually 1 point. In the tight end premium leagues, tight ends go much faster. You need to get Kelsey. I've seen Kelsey go within like the first 3 picks. In a tight end
I've taken Kelsey at 1.
Bonkers.
Yeah,
I have taken Kelsey at 1.
But then even in those leagues, you're drafting a second or maybe even a third tight end by round 10, just because the value of a Cole Kmet is greater than the value of, say, a Christian Watson, because Cole Kmet is basically getting 2 points for every single reception.
Yeah, for sure. It's like having a PPR league and having a running back that like McCaffrey or Jahmyr Gibbs.
In the league that I run, my home league, which Jeff and Lauren are in, we have bonuses for a 40-yard pass, a 50-yard pass, a 50-yard touchdown. Same with a rush, same with a reception. So when Josh Allen throws a 50-yard touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs, if you have both of them, you literally just got 25 points. you literally.
And you're done, and you can't come back. You're done.
So Ian, sidebar: why is Bryce Harper at first base? Okay, back to regular conversation. I just don't get it.
Why? Because he can't. Because he had Tommy John surgery after last season, and he can't throw the ball from the outfield.
But he's been playing outfield most of the year, right?
Well, now he's playing first base, and he's
unreal
damn good at it.
Unreal.
Anyway.
All right. Anyway. So, all right. So, what's your best draft trait?
So my best drafts for me, my best drafts trait is very similar to yours. Sorry, I've had a couple beers. My best draft trait is I will always, and we talk about this on this show a lot, I will always go running back heavy. The running back position there's so few less talented players. There's such a less talent pool than wide receivers. I will go, if it's a super flex league, I'll take a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. Otherwise, if it's a single quarterback, I have no problem going running back. And then in the 4th round, grabbing Keenan Allen, and I'm happy.
Ferg, I see you shaking your head. We don't have time to get into that conversation right now. Next show we'll get into that conversation. Next show we'll get into the Superflex conversation because we still need to talk about Thursday night. So Ian, I'm gonna go away from you. Go to Ferg. Ferg, best and worst traits.
Best traits. I think my best traits is other than injury. I always play well to the scoring system. Like people, like I'm in love with this dude, but like we talk about tight end premium, like I don't fall in love. Like I'm gonna take Justin, I'm gonna take Jalen. Like, no, if the system says these dudes getting 3 points per catch, I'm gonna take Cole Kmet, Travis Kelce at 1, crazy shit like that.
So let's put this in perspective. People out there that are playing fantasy football, look at your league settings before your draft.
Settings before you draft.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't look at your league scoring before you draft, you're going to wind up leaving that league and looking like an asshole.
Because
league settings
coming into the year in a 4-point touchdown passing league, Jalen Hurts was more valuable than Patrick Mahomes. So these are the things that you guys need to know. Josh Allen, more valuable than Patrick Mahomes. This is what people need to know. Okay, so Ferg, what's your worst drafting?
So my worst trait is because I think that I'm this awesome and incredible drafter, and I feel like when the season ends, I start watching all these bad analysts and reading all this information, and I decide, and then I end up getting fixed on certain players that are on every single team that I have. And all of those teams are either 4-0 or they're 0-4. Like, depending on what I did around them. But I have a lot, like JT and Kelce. Well, Kelce, I mean, you already know it is what it is.
Yeah.
But JT, we haven't seen yet. But I have, we talked about this before, but our new Voldemort. I have so many teams that I just fell in love. I saw this stat about Drake London this summer about him getting like 69% of the target share for like the last 12 games of the year last year. And I fell in love with the fact that I was like, I can get this dude at like my 3rd or 4th receiver in every league that I play in. And every league that I play in, that I'm 0-4, I lose by like 4 or 5 points, and he has 1 point.
I feel like Clint's worst strategy is draft capital. I drafted this guy in the 1st round. I have to play him.
I have to play him. And so he ties into the fact that you take a dude like that, then my absolute worst trait is I think that I'm so smart that eventually it's going to work. I won't trade him until it's like week 11 and 12, but it's too late then.
Well, see,
Ferg, let me tell you, before we move to Lauren, I'm going to tell you a perfect example of how that actually was the opposite for me. So I had Josh Jacobs and James Robinson 2 years ago when James Robinson was great, right? Mm-hmm. And I started Josh Jacobs because I drafted him first, but I had James Robinson sitting on the bench who was outscoring him for the first 2 weeks. So I got a trade together with Barbie, and I was 0-3, and I traded Barbie Josh Jacobs, and I starting James Robinson, and I won 11 straight, or whatever it was.
You and I had a trade like that last year where people were like, why are you both trading like your best players or something? But it worked for us. And then we both ended up making the playoffs because we were both under 500 when we traded.
Bro, this goes back to something I said a couple episodes ago, man. It's all about people will laugh when you talk about this, but it's all about the locker room, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
team continuity.
Like people are like, oh,
Ian's smiling because he knows I'm right. So,
the only thing I would say about that was the trades, though, is people like Ian. You feel like this is probably a good trade, but you always feel like somehow he's winning. He's shitting on me, so I should just decline this, even though it probably helps us both. I should decline this. Because you're a convicted shitter. You're a convicted shitter on.
All right,
a convicted shitter.
So Lauren, let's move. Let's move
in
to
our
Lauren.
league. Hang on. In our league, our friend Tony once referred to me as a master predator. I know when to strike, and I don't know
if I would tell people that.
I don't know if I would tell people that either. They make a show about that.
Stop.
They make a show.
Chris Hansen.
Different predator. Thank you,
Chris Hansen. Hey, so Lauren, best and worst draft trait.
It's gonna hurt me to say this, but as of the way the NFL is moving towards committee, I'm gonna say RB0 is probably one of the worst for me. I don't
feel that.
I'm done with it. Now is RB hero.
You're right.
Ferg feels
last week that I actually was really proud of. It was like my first like big dynasty trade. I was actually really proud of that. I thought Ian's head was gonna explode last week, but I traded I had Joe Burrow. I couldn't take it anymore. And I'm 0-3, and so I traded.
You did a great trade. That was
a really good trade. I really liked it.
So what happened? Joe Burrow
for like an hour. I was so excited.
Continue.
I traded Burrow and Zay Jones for Mike Evans, Justin Herbert, and I gave away my first and second round picks for next year. So I could.
That's a great pick.
You got Mike Evans and Justin Herbert.
Yep.
You got Justin Herbert on the deal. That's all you had to talk about. That's all you needed to say.
Number one quarterback in fantasy football. I like it.
When he comes back from being hurt
last week, so
and off his bye week. And off his bye week.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm okay with it.
All right. So
anymore.
All right. What's your worst? Did we talk about that? Yeah, we talked about that. Okay. So now let's finish this off. What's your best?
My best pick.
Well, your best trait. Your best fantasy football drafting trait.
Oh, that trick or trade? Trade was last week. Was the one I just talked about.
No, trait. What do you do well?
Trait.
Your worst trait.
I get that, Brian.
I was gonna say that's her worst trait, but we already knew that. It didn't need to be brought out.
Yeah, no, I always have to put a somewhere, and it's bad too. I personally like waiting on tight end. I think that's a good draft trait. I'm not big on the top three. I'll let them go.
I get that.
I'll stream tight ends, honestly.
If I don't get Kelsey, I'm not drafting him.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
I'll draft Hawk, but Kelsey or Hawk is really.
Well, it's Kelsey and Andrews, really.
Andrews gold.
And so let me ask you a question. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
you do a mid-season draft like Ferg just did last night.
Yes.
We'll talk about that next week. So we don't have time to talk about that. But like Ferg last week. So where do you draft Laporta? Like, do you draft him as the tight end 2, which he is right now? Right? Like, do you draft him ahead of Mark Andrews? So even though Mark Andrews has been hurt. All right. So anyway, let's talk about that next week. So let's get to the Thursday night game. So we got the Bears at the Manders.
It's a toilet bowl. It's gonna be quick.
So
the Manders.
It is prime time viewing right now for sure. So the Bears have been shit, and that's not. So last week was not Justin Fields' fault. He was fantastic. This dude did everything he could to help.
Denver should feel ashamed of themselves for even winning that game. Honestly,
no, they really should. Yeah. Now, I will say this: as a Tar Heel, Sam Howell is doing very well. Yes, he had a 4-pick game. Who was that against the Eagles?
No.
Bills.
Cowboys.
Bills.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So 6 and 1 half dozen in the other.
No, he wouldn't get 4 picks against the Cowboys.
No, he did a really good job. He's done a really great job this year. He was the quarterback 9, I think, last week in fantasy football.
He was a hell of a game.
He has a great stream this week against a very, 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 if anybody wanted to add any, very, very, very bad Bears defense. Like, he's a great stream this week.
Yeah.
If you need somebody to start, because I know the Chargers are off. So if you're somebody like me that has Herbert, I picked up Sam Howell to play because I also have Terry McLaurin. So it makes for a good stack. Right? So it makes for a good stack this week. But so the over-under is 44.5, and it's the Manders by 6 at home at FedEx Field.
It's 3 because you get 3 for being at home.
Yeah. So this is a really shitty game that has actually a lot of fantasy implications because people do have Justin Fields because they drafted him and they play him like me in a Superflex league. With you have Justin Fields as your second quarterback, you're like, yeah, I feel good about this coming into the year. And then for the first 3 weeks, you felt like an asshole. And then last week, you got your 50-point game.
Yeah.
Right. So it was week 6 last year when Justin Fields turned it around. It was the QB.
And he just went off.
He was the QB 2 from week 6.
Week 7. Actually, week 7, I think. I think it was week 7.
But that's
most of that
QB2
running yards. Most of that was running yards. Let's
be
honest.
I get it. Let's take
either way, though. But for fantasy, it's like good.
For fantasy, absolutely, no argument.
Yeah, for fantasy, we're degenerates. We want how we get it. I don't care.
Yep.
Do whatever you got to do just so I can win. I need this money.
See,
yes, you do.
I'm with you on that, Ferg. So, all right. So, what are your picks, Ian?
I'm going to take the Commanders at home. I just
points.
I think I always take the home team on Thursday night. I'm going to go under 44. I think it's a low-scoring game. I don't know, 19-13. I don't.
Wow, that's a weird ass score.
I don't think it's going to be a very exciting game.
So you take the Commanders and the points. It sounds like
I would take the Commanders and the under. 19-13. I would take
the over-under is 44.5.
I would take the under on points. Okay. I don't think the Commanders cover this. I don't think
that's a 6-point spread.
Cover the spread.
Yeah, so you're even on the spread. All right, I'm going to go last because I want to comment on Brian's last comment. So Ferg, what you got?
I gotta always be the opposite guy. I'm gonna go because normally does lean towards the home on Thursday nights. I'll go 24-21 Bears.
Wow.
And Justin Fields teases us a little bit more and goes big. I ain't saying going 50 points, but Justin Fields definitely the lead in fantasy score. I say he still finishes top 5 fantasy score for the weekend after whatever he does tomorrow.
Lauren, what say you?
21-20 Bears.
That's interesting.
Ooh, we're on the Bears. Give the Bears some love.
It's time. Like, he looked great last week. Like, Washington always craps out. Like, I think it's time. I think he's gonna come out. I think it's their week.
So I'm gonna go against all of y'all. I'm gonna say 37-30 Manders. So the Commanders have given up 30 points in like 6 straight games, something like that. So I'm going to go 37-30 Manders. I say Sam Howell has a good game. I say Justin Fields has a good game. And Brian, I am a UNC ticket holder. I am a Carolina fan. I'm a Chapel Hill born and bred gentleman. I know that Ferg is coming up here to watch Miami lose in 2 weeks. This is going to be a great, great, great day that he's going to be up here with that. Hey, Ferg, by the way, if y'all take care of Georgia Tech this week and we take care of Syracuse, that's going to be a 7:30 game on ABC, baby. That's going to be a 7:30 game on ABC, baby. All right. So anyway, all right. So anything else NFL that Ian you have? Let's start with you. Anything else?
Hot take.
Final
Justin Fields gets sacked 5 times on Thursday night.
Okay.
That Redskins front four is not to be or it's Commanders. Sorry, front
Okay.
four is not to be messed with.
All right, Berg, what say you?
Oh God, we didn't even ease up. Okay, I just pulled one out the air. Patrick Mahomes has a Patrick Mahomes weekend. Finishes number 1.
Okay,
over
Lauren,
QBs.
what you got?
I'm going to say the Jets win this week. The Saints do not.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. So
You are the Aints. You are the Aints again.
I say
Predictions from Maverick.
I say
Going into New
CJ.
England, it's not going to happen.
Hot take here: CJ Stroud gets his first 400-yard game as a pro against the Falcons. I think that he accounts for 400 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns total.
I hope so. I got Nico Collins in every single.
I just think that this kid is special. The Panthers should have drafted him number 1 overall.
Yeah.
But apparently Bryce Young is a better locker room guy.
He's a make-a-wish kid.
So anyway, all right. So for Ian, Berg, Lauren, I'm Clint. We'll see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7:30 Wednesday. Peace out.
Later.
Peace out.
Go Phillies.
Go Birds.
Lauren.